Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back for episode 134 of Two Guys, One Cartridge. Myself, Tim, and Daryl here, and how's it going, buddy?
Fine.
Thanks. Okay, good.
What do you want me to say?
I just got you. I was like, come on, high energy, let's go. Nothing? Okay.
Sorry.
So, we've been doing some interesting things here with Two Guys, One Cartridge recently. We've been trying to expand our fan base by quite a bit. And the only thing we were really doing before was, originally was on Vlog Talk, and then we came over here to Power Not Included, and we just kept on just posting the stuff here and then posting it to iTunes, and that was it. And that's the way it stayed for episodes upon episodes.
Mm-hmm. The first 130 episodes.
Yeah. So, you had this idea that just go ahead, use Windows Movie Maker, take the audio, take the...
Yeah, see, there's this website now called YouTube, and people post user-created content on there.
You don't have to be an ass about it, okay? I'm trying to give fucking credit.
I'm not being an ass towards you. I'm just saying.
Yes.
There's this website, it's awesome.
Uh-huh.
And post stuff on there like that, so...
Okay.
It's a good forum.
It is.
To post videos on.
Now, I will say this.
Mm-hmm.
We posted 131 was the first one we tried this with, and that was our return back episode. And, it was our big discussion on the Xbox One.
Yeah.
That has no love from YouTube whatsoever. No love. It's still under 10 views, I think.
Yeah.
But, the follow-up, the Wildstar episode, which you were quite upset with.
Mm-hmm.
That one has broken 100.
Yeah.
Actually, it's on its way to 200 already. And, the general idea, at least from the limited response we've been getting, but we've gotten more subscribers out of it. We've gotten, people commenting on it. They generally liked it. Of course, they did kind of give you a quick critique about some of the stuff you missed.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, and I know I missed stuff. That's why I went back and I did the redo episode.
Which is a level of dedication I don't think I've ever seen from you, because usually you say we've had a bad episode, to hell with it, we'll just make it up next week. You said, no sir.
Yeah.
I am upset.
Mm-hmm.
I kept on telling him, dude, it's fine. People were liking it. And he's like, no, it's not okay.
No.
So Saturday afternoon,
mm-hmm.
I
I recorded it on Saturday, and I probably spent maybe 3 hours or so after recording it. So the original recording was about 70 minutes long, and I cut down about 25 minutes worth of material out of it to get it down to the length that it's at now. So I spent a lot of time working on that.
I can tell. So you did all this, and then you,
mm-hmm.
you said, I find it absolutely hilarious though. At the very beginning of the recording, you say, this is not going to be a full-length episode. This is just going to be a touch-up on stuff that I missed. And then you said that, and I'm listening to it, and I look over at the time remaining, and it says 56 minutes, and I'm like, the hell, it isn't a full episode. I'm like, damn, you actually went on and talked about this whole thing by yourself, because, you were just that upset about it.
That was everything that I wanted to say that didn't really come out the way I wanted it to.
No,
and as I said, it was my birthday, and I was kind of debating with myself whether or not I wanted to try to record. But I said, to hell with it, we'll go ahead and do it. And I just too much to drink that night, and it just didn't come out the way I wanted to. Which I don't know if you know this about me, Tim, but I like to drink beer.
No, really?
I don't know if you knew that about me.
Uh-uh.
But, sometimes I do that during the show too, or before the show sometimes, and,
mm-hmm.
there have been instances where, shit happens and...
Well, this is definitely disturbing news to me. I thought that this show was being done 100% sober from both of us, for shame, sir. As I see you enjoying a beer, which, what are you drinking today, real quick?
The Flying Dog, Oyster Stout.
Ah, the oyster, okay. The pearl necklace, or whatever, yeah. And of course, as we said, we're doing this 100% sober, but I am enjoying a Trogs Hopback Amber, which is another good one, so. Yeah. In 2G1C fashion, we are, of course, drinking during the show.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of different, like, little stuff to get into today.
Yeah. Being that next week is E3, I guess some people just decided, we're just going to go ahead and start making announcements now, because sometime around maybe 1 or 2 o'clock, I originally had about maybe 6 notes, and then that doubled just in today alone.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been a lot of things being announced today, and even more since then that we just do not have time to cover all this stuff. But I'll let you go ahead and get started. There's a couple things you seem particularly excited about, so you can go ahead and kick us off here.
I guess if we stick with, E3 and the rumors based around E3, a while ago, Microsoft was trying to renew the trademark of Killer Instinct back in December of last year. Their request was denied because of a Fox television show by the same name that was released. Only lasted for 1 season. I don't even know that show existed, but then only reason I heard about it was because of the trademark not being issued to Microsoft. Well, it was recently renewed, and they both companies signed an agreement saying that we will not sue the other person over the use of the name, which again gives Microsoft use of the Killer Instinct trademark. And there was another big announcement saying that a game from an old favorite from Rare was going to be rekindled and shown off. Well, this game from Rare is an old game from Rare that was a huge fan favorite, was Killer Instinct. Mm-hmm. And saw another leaked report from somebody else saying, it's rumored, but they're definitely saying Killer Instinct is going to be announced at E3.
Now, also with that too, there have been a lot of rumors going around, since we're talking about games from Rare, that there might be a new Banjo-Kazooie game being announced too.
I saw that one too.
Yeah.
Which I was never big into the Banjo-Kazooie franchise. I don't think I ever actually played a single one of their games, actually.
Oh, okay.
If there was more than one. I don't know. I guess
there's quite a few in the,
they three,
and then they had a couple of spin-off games as well, but yeah.
Now there's definitely other sites that have been reporting this, but, this is what I got posted to me from a friend of mine from Facebook, coming from another website, known as the Arab Gamer. And they listed off a bunch of different titles going to be announced. They said Halo 5, Killer Instinct, Banjo-Kazooie 4, Forza 5, Quantum Break, Halo Spartan Assault, Rise, Fable 4, Crackdown 3, Fort 9, Dead Rising 3, COD, Ghost, Battlefield 4, Witcher 3, Dying Light, Prey 2, Homefront 2, BGE, I'm trying to figure what BG is. The name's evading me right now. Mirror's Edge 2, Rainbow Six Patriots, Brothers in Arms, League of Legends, and then Dead Rising 3, Dragon's Dogma 2, Darkstalkers Reborn, Marvel vs. Capcom 4, Mega Man, a new IP from Capcom Vancouver, and a new IP from Ninja Theory.
Yeah, that list was originally released over on the NeoGAF forums. That's where that came from, and
actually, I see, yeah, he even lists that as being there.
Yeah, everybody said like, oh, that's fake, whatever, but we'll see. It's a week away. They have announced one of the games on that list actually today, and I actually texted you about that earlier. It was the Halo Spartan Assault game. Mm-hmm. And, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I'll let you finish your point about Killer Instinct.
Now, Killer Instinct, I did enjoy playing as a kid, and it was one of the games I played a lot of, especially with my friends back in school. But one of our friends, actually one of the old co-hosts of this show, JD, is absolutely batshit crazy over Killer Instinct, and he has been waiting for this announcement. He's been wanting this game for years. He keeps and every time I talk to him, every now and then he'll bring up Killer Instinct. So today, when I saw this article, I texted him and I said, there's a leaked report, it's rumored, but it looks like Killer Instinct is actually going to happen and it is going to be announced at E3. His response was, don't toy with me and I will drive up there and beat your pasty white ass if you're lying to me. And I said, I'm just going bop the rumor. So then I sent him the link to the stuff that I saw. And then, so immediately he goes into research mode and he starts searching all his websites. He's like, it looks like it's gonna happen. It looks like it's gonna happen. And he was pretty damn excited. But, I'd like to see it. It would be nice to play Killer Instinct again. since I haven't played it since 1995, 6, maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah, the Killer Instinct came out on the Super Nintendo in '95. Yeah.
Sweet, I'm spot on. Damn, I'm good. But that's like my big rumor from Killer Instinct. I do have something else that was, I know another article I did find, completely switching topics here, but, something that irritated us a long time ago when they first announced this was the idea of the online pass.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were always, kind of irritated about this, because it's like, and it attacked the used gaming market.
Yeah, I mean, I think we came to the consensus that we understood why they were doing it, but I still, I'm still kind of iffy about that whole thing. But go ahead.
But EA actually announced the other day that they are dropping the online pass requirement.
Now, did they say why they were doing that?
According to them, they're being good guy EA.
Well, I don't believe that for a second.
Neither do I. But what they said is they just wanted to. They listened to feedback from their players and everything else, and they said, you know what, let's just go ahead and do away with it. Now, I hate to throw out the conspiracy theory and everything about this, but with one of the rumors about the Xbox Live saying that used games are, the whole used game thing, it's like, well, EA is just saying, well, we don't really need to worry about the online pass anymore because they're going to pay full price regardless.
Yeah, that was the first thing that popped in my head was, well, because the Xbox One is going to have the publisher cut out of it, now it's kind of redundant. But did they mention, is that going to cross all systems too? Obviously, I don't know what they're planning on doing with the Wii U, but the PS4.
They said Xbox. What they're doing is with the Xbox Live, so Xbox titles and PlayStation titles is what they mentioned.
Okay.
So any of what they're going to do is they're doing it now to the most recent sports titles. They're removing the requirement for the pass.
Okay.
Then they're retroactively removing all the original requirements as well. Which some players may sign into Xbox Live and try to play online. It says you need an online pass, but it'll be listed as a free charge if they just download the quick little 2 kilobyte file or 1 kilobyte file, whatever it is, onto their hard drive, and then they're good to go and playing again. But they plan to remove it for everything out there if they originally put an online pass on.
Yeah, that's interesting they would do that for both systems. Maybe it makes you want, maybe they know something about the PS4 then that we don't. Yeah,
and that's
possibly.
I didn't want to put the tinfoil hat on,
because everybody's been getting behind Sony now, saying like, oh, they're the good guys, and Microsoft, they're the one making the big misstep, doing the whole publisher cut-in thing. But maybe they do know something we don't.
Yeah.
And because as far as I know, Sony hasn't come out and said definitively one way or another if they're going to have any system like that, have they?
You know what? I really haven't been paying that much attention to Sony.
Okay.
I used to be a Sony backer, and I just haven't followed them in a while. I can't. It's just way too much for one guy to handle.
Yeah, I understand that. But it just makes me think that, like you said, I don't want to get the tinfoil hat on or anything like that. It's just strange that they would be getting their cut in from one market, the Xbox One market, but they would be getting nothing out of the PlayStation market. And I don't know how much their games sell on Xbox versus PlayStation, but I would assume that it would be probably pretty similar for their multi-platform titles, which most of their games are now.
Mm-hmm.
So they would be effectively cutting themselves out of half of their market, give or take. So.
What you think about it too is EA, they announced the whole Ignite thing and they said it was for the Xbox One.
Yes.
And, so they seem to be pushing themselves towards the Microsoft market.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. They're just putting all their eggs in one basket saying, we're going to see a majority of our, merchandise sold on this platform versus this platform. We're going to weigh the costs. And we can do away with the $10 charge for the online pass because we're going to be getting a cut out of any of these games that are resold.
And also, too, they might have just looked at their sales and said, we're going to make more money with the Xbox publisher cut-in deal than we would have with the online passes for both systems combined. So they could have looked at it that way as well.
I said they could just be weighing all their options and
exactly.
This is what is what we think, this is what we're going to get, and we'll go this way.
But I certainly don't believe that they're just being good guy EA.
No.
I don't buy that for a second.
No, I don't either.
EA makes decisions with their bottom line in mind, which is certainly within their right. They have to make money to exist, so can't fault them for that. Can fault them for a lot of other things, but not really for wanting to make money.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so, I mean, what are you out there to do?
That's right. They're out there to make money. They sell games.
You think we're out here to make you happy?
No.
No. Well, I mean, technically, customer happiness could equal more money, so there has to be a balance.
But since we're talking about EA, I wanted to mention this real quick, and I figured this is something you're going to be particularly excited about, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
EA celebrates lesbian, gay, bi, and transsexual Pride Month in June. Yay!
Let me go get my flag out now.
But yeah, they actually did announce that they're going to be celebrating that, and this is, I think if we were talking about any other companies, I think the reaction would probably be, or at least most other companies, the reaction would probably be relatively positive, but it's been very, very mixed, especially over at, I read about it on Reddit initially, and even the people in here even the people in the thread who are saying I'm gay, but I don't really trust EA. I think that they just, I mean, it's funny just because they may come off as they're trying to do something good,
mm-hmm.
but people are so jaded against EA that they don't even trust them when they're trying to do something like this. Everybody's I feel like they're just trying to push an agenda and all that kind of thing. It's another tinfoil hat type of thing, but it just goes to show how jaded people are about EA.
And we've both admitted to it here already, so it's well, maybe EA is turning over a new leaf. Maybe they are, finally paying attention to the consumer and want to do all this good stuff and everything else. And part of me just I see you shaking your head. No, exactly. It's a new thing. It's like if you were to compliment me, it would completely throw me off. I'd say there's something behind that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm about to give you bad news.
Yeah. It's really good work you did over there. By the way, your dog's dead. What the fuck?
I ran over your dog.
Yeah. No, see that? There's always a hidden agenda somewhere.
Definitely.
Well, I have, I know you, of course, we spent 2 plus hours talking about WildStar. You for pretty much all of it. I think the episode 132, I just kind of sat there and went, yeah. And every time I try to get a word in or change a topic, you would immediately go, but back to WildStar. Which, it was the Daryl show.
I had a lot to say.
You did, apparently. I kind of sat there and was
I had to make another hour's worth of talking about it.
I know.
And most of it was stuff I didn't even get to on the show.
I want to say something though. There is a project that I'm excited about. And besides video games, I am a big TCG player as well, or tradable card game, or CC collectible card game, however you want to put it. And I have been playing Magic the Gathering since I was maybe 10, 11 years old. Of course, with Duel of the Planeswalker coming out and coming to Xbox Live and coming to Steam, it was always great to sit there and just play Magic again and play it with your friends and play against other people online and just have fun playing these different game modes and everything else. It left a lot to be desired though, because there wasn't much in terms of deck building, and it was really just, here's your decks, here's the card you can possibly earn, you can kind of play with a little bit, but this is all the content you're gonna get. This is it. You just play this and then you're done. And for the most part, that was enough for me. I could sit there and play Magic the Gathering, play with the same decks, and just go for hours upon hours without even thinking about it. Well, enter this project from Kickstarter, which is about to expire, actually. At the time of this recording, it has 67 hours left to go. And it has $1.8 million pledged so far of its $300,000 goal. So Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And the game I'm talking about is Hex, or Hex Shards of Fate, which I think Shards of Fate is actually the name. People can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Shards of Fate is the name of the first expansion for the game. But it's just listed as Hex in the Kickstarter headline. And it is a trading card game MMO. That comes to us from Cryptozoic, which is the company that made the World of Warcraft trading card game. What they are doing is absolutely, it goes over my head completely. Like they showed off in their video on the Kickstarter page was just a standard game, just playing a game. And looking at it, it's very similar to if someone. I'm going to do a lot of comparisons to Magic the Gathering, just because that's what I'm familiar with. It's just like whenever we talk about other MMOs, we always reference back to Warcraft because that's what we were familiar with.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the overall design, the UI, the gameplay, a lot of it is very similar to what someone who played Magic the Gathering in the past would pretty much fit right into at least the basics of Hex. You have your different phases, you have your different types of cards. So you have your creature cards, you have your basic actions, you have your quick actions. So your basic action, again, for you Magic players, it's something like your sorceries or your enchantments or your auras or enchant creature, which is actually kind of interesting the way they do this, because it's the basic action. What it does is it acts like an enchantment, at least from what I saw in the video. So, it gives plus power and plus defense to all your creatures. It immediately goes off to your graveyard, but the effect lasts. So it is an enchantment. It's not like an instant which disappears at the end of a turn. But the interesting thing, which is different from games like Magic the Gathering or anything like that, is that if the card is destroyed and returned from the graveyard, or if the card is if the actual creature that was enchanted is returned back to your hand, if it's played again, the enchantment that was on it from the card that was already played remains, which is something that's completely different from the way like old Magic the Gathering players would be used to. Because if you used an enchant creature, if the card was returned, the enchantment was destroyed, and there was no way to get it back unless you got the enchantment back to re-enchant that single creature again. Other things like sorceries, and creatures, those are all your, your basic actions or your standard actions. And then you have your quick actions, which are like instants, which can be played at any given time, even in combat, which they did show that off, and they showed, the way that spells dissipate. So, it goes to who played what last. That's the effect that comes into play first. But it's very similar to what you would think from like one of those games. It's a 20 life count between both players, what was shown, and that was the basics. So as I said, if you've played something like Duels of the Planeswalkers, it's very similar. There's mana and thresholds, which are required to actually cast and play your spells and everything else. Thresholds a little different, because what happens is you play your land or your mana card, and what ends up happening is it adds to your pool, but it adds the threshold count, and cards have a mana requirement and a threshold requirement. So just having that type of color is the threshold, and the mana count is actually increased every turn and actually refunds to you every turn. I think this threshold really comes into play with people that are playing multicolored decks or something like that, which they didn't show that off, but I'm assuming something like that's going to be in there. Now, that's all great and good. That's a basic trading card game that I've seen on PC before. So as I've played Duels of the Planeswalkers, that's what I've already seen. But this game is also listed as an MMO.
Yes, that it is.
And it's absolutely ridiculous what they're throwing in here.
I'm looking at the Kickstarter page here, and it's an interesting concept, no doubt. I've never even heard of an MMO trading card game before. So, go ahead and tell me what makes this a good, what could make this a good MMO, Tim?
Okay. So, let's see here. Looking at the different aspects. So, you have your actual champion, which is your avatar. In, again, games like Magic, you had your avatar, which was just, all it was a portrait for you. That's all it meant. It was just what you looked at on your screen, and you unlocked more as you played, and that was it. It was just something to look at. Your champion in this game actually levels up. It gets different abilities. and you get these charge abilities. And the charge abilities build over time while you're playing games. You can activate it, and they have all kinds of different things they can do. Summon different creatures, activate certain spells. And the champions, in good old MMO fashion, can also get gear. This is what really gets me, is the gear itself. It has, the standard levels, the common, uncommon, rare, legendary, that normal stuff. The gear actually influences the effects of the card. So if you want to see this, I really can't do it justice, but definitely go to the Kickstarter page for this game and just look at some of this stuff. But the different types of gears will actually change what the card will do. So you may get a very basic effect, but as you level up your champion and earn this better gear, your cards take on a completely different look and feel. The cards themselves can actually level up. So you have, what's it here? There's achievements for each card. There's experience that can be gained for each card. There are badges and there are stats. So it actually shows you everything that you've done. Every time you play this card, this is what's happened. This is the highest amount of damage you've dealt with it. It's the total damage given, received, how many times it's been in your opening hand, and how many times, it says fatal damage. I don't know if that's fatal damage dealt or fatal damage received. Either way. But then you get badges based upon all the different times you've won tournaments with this card. You actually earn badges for each one, and then each one has achievements. So every time it has, just certain random things you have to do, like any achievement is. And if you earn all the achievements, you change the artwork on the card. If you level up completely with the experience, if you gain all the experience required for the card, it actually unlocks the foil version of the card. Now again, these are graphic things, they're not really anything to change the card, but people will chase after this stuff. Like I actually chased after some of the foil versions in Duels of the Planeswalker. Other stuff, like other things we've seen from MMOs, socketable cards that have gem slots on them. You can go get different gems that you can put on these cards and give them permanent effects. Again, looking at the Kickstarter here, you can give it +1 to attack and defense. You can give defense to another one of your cards when this particular card enters play. Or you can go ahead and treat it like a quick action or an instant. So it just means you can play this card at any given time. It's crazy what they're adding so far, and that's like not even touching it. So there's dungeons, there's raids, there's a large PvE story that they're putting into this. You can play with your friends, you can go to these dungeons and raids together and go get fat loots. So for someone who's a trading card game player like myself and an MMO lover like myself, taking both of these together made me have a nerdgasm. And you better...
that was actually going to be my question for you, was not did you have a nerdgasm, but what was the PvE like? Is it going to it was going to have, full rating and all that good stuff and whatnot. Okay. So, have they talked about the amount of content that's going to be? I know it's still, obviously the Kickstarter's still, I think Kickstarter's finished, but have they mentioned anything about anything like that?
It's still in development. The beta for backers is estimated delivery is September of this year.
So did you contribute to the Kickstarter?
Yes.
How much?
$35.
Oh, okay. So you went for the warrior tier.
Yes.
Okay. So you are going to get a beta invite as well.
Yes.
So then you'll be able to let us know what's going on. Ideally, assuming there's not an NDA. So.
Yeah. As long as there's not that, then yeah, I will. Yeah. So if you pledge, $10 you get nothing. If you pledge at least $20, you'll get a beta invite. Mm-hmm. But $35 seems like a good start. You get 3 starter decks, 25 booster packs, you get different PvP art, you get exclusive champions, customizable sleeves. I don't know. What else? Am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing something. What am I missing? Oh, other things. There's other MMO things. There's a guild. So of course you can get all your friends together. You can actually make a guild in this game. There's an auction house if you want to go ahead and trade all your items and cards and find some better stuff. So it's all there. They are saying that the first expansion for this game will contain 350 cards. And of course they're going to be adding more as time goes on. This kind of card actually, I like this too. There's an idea of the transforming card. You have your basic troop, right? Your basic creature. it does nothing. It could be possibly worthless. You activate its ability. It goes into a secondary state, which is like its cocoon phase. Looking at this one, it's what it is. It goes into this cocoon phase. After it completes that phase, it now becomes something stronger, more powerful, more deadly, devastating, better effects the card itself has. That's pretty cool too. I like this. I really, really, really like this. They're even talking about possible cash prizes for tournaments too. Maybe.
Well, that's good that they're trying to get the community involved like that too with tournaments and whatnot. They're thinking about it at least anyway, so that's good.
I really like this idea. I've been looking for a new trading card game to play, and it's nice to play. Playing on the PC can be nice. I have a feeling this is not gonna be so nice in terms of, gentle on my wallet.
I'm assuming that there is gonna be a microtransaction component to it.
Damn sure.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, with the trading card game, I think that's kind of a given. Even Blizzard is talking about that with their trading card game, which, as you said, is done by these same people. I think that's kind of a given to purchase new card packs.
But if you actually look at the Kickstarter, it says 10 booster packs valued at $20. It's $20 value, so it's $2 per pack. And the starter decks, you get 2 of them, it's $20 value, so it's $10 per deck. So if that's true, then that's what we're looking at. We're looking at, $10 per deck, and $2 per booster pack. And depending upon how crazy I get into this game, it could be dangerous.
Yeah. Have they talked, and I'm like I said, it's still early, but have they mentioned anything about it? Is there going to be a monthly subscription model, or is it free to play with the microtransactions?
I haven't seen that, but I'm almost guaranteeing it's going to be free to play with the microtransaction. You're going to get people, because of its model, because of its type of gameplay, you're going to get people that are just going to throw down the money on getting the card packs. And
well, I mean, it looks like people seem to believe in this game. Having a Kickstarter with a $1.8 million total right now, you don't see that too often. Only really, really popular games like I think Wasteland 2 and the Double Fine games and a couple other ones they were kind of established names, were the ones that had made that had gotten those kinds of, that kind of backing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, at the same time, it does have the World of Warcraft thing going behind it too. So maybe that plays into it a little bit. I don't know. But I think it also just at the same time is just a concept people clearly seem to believe in. I mean, 12,000 backers, $1.8 million. Doing some math here real quick. Let's see how much the average backer was. $150. So that's nothing to sneeze at. So
I feel like I've given so little now. No, actually, people have been. I mean, I'm actually looking at this. You have people that getting close to 1,000 that have pledged 500 or more, or 250 or more.
There were 15 of the producer tiers, which were $10,000 or more, and there's only 6 of 15 of them left.
Yeah, so 9 people have actually donated $10,000 to this game. So you have your big sponsors, people that actually throw that money around. I, unfortunately, cannot throw that kind of money around, and I don't think I really would, unless I was, developing my own game, which you'll never see me do. So, actually, that's not true. I actually am working on a game development right now.
Interesting.
We are. Joanna and I, actually. We are. I purchased, the RPG maker Ace, and we are trying to make our own RPG title, revolving around us.
Oh, well, I can't wait.
Actually, I think the title is going to be Gooch Puncher 2013, but we'll see. That title's still up in the air.
Gooch Puncher 2013, huh?
Yep.
That sounds like a you and Joanna kind of thing.
Title in progress.
Well, since we're talking about MMOs, I wanted to bring up Titan, the in development / rumored / what have you MMO.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently last week they confirmed quote changes to Titan where they apparently are starting over on the project. They say that they've come to a point where they need to make some large design and technology changes. they had about 70 of the team of 100 people working on it reassigned, and they're starting over basically. So now the release date is pushed back to 2016 at earliest.
Oh,
so now the MMO, I mean, this is just, it's wide open now. I mean, this leaves a lot of room for forthcoming MMOs. Like, we had mentioned WildStar, The Elder Scrolls. I'm pretty disappointed. I was really, really looking forward to hearing about Titan at BlizzCon, but at the same time, if Blizzard doesn't feel that the game is ready, I guess it's probably for the best, but we could possibly be looking at maybe 4 to 5 years away for this game, so.
I mean, it almost seems like it would have been the death of the project. I mean, you look at some of these games that go into like development hell or something like that, and they decide to it's not a good thing whenever we hear that kind of stuff. Most recently, one of our favorite games, of course, Duke Nukem Forever and Alien Colonial Marines were two games recently that have done that. And of course now there's lawsuits about Alien. It really makes you worry. Like, I just don't see, like, what exactly happened. I guess we'll never know. What happened?
We won't know until maybe years after the game comes out, because they did the same thing with Diablo 3. Apparently they remade Diablo 3 3 times. So, and then it came out later on that we could see some detail about the game, like some screenshots and whatnot about it. But we'll never really completely know why. The press release to IGN, this is just press talk, basically. We have really no clue what really went on behind the scenes. Maybe they felt that it was too similar to WoW, and that's not what players would want. Maybe it just was not good. We don't know. But it is really, really disappointing, like I said. You could potentially, well, I don't know. I guess it depends on the lifespan of this coming console generation, but you could possibly be looking at releases on the following consoles as well, because it's going to be pushed back so far. They say 2016. I mean, at this point, the game is more or less off my radar, because we've been hearing whispers about it as far back as 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And this for me is kind of being placed in the same category as Half-Life 3, where it's just like, I can't really be bothered with this anymore. I mean, it's been too long. It's been too many years with nothing. And it's just whatever. If you release it, fine. If not, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you had our attention for a while.
Exactly, yeah.
And now you've lost it.
Especially because there was no BlizzCon last year, which this could have been a reason why there was no BlizzCon. Maybe they weren't sure about it. Maybe they knew people were going to be, and maybe this game was going to be in high demand.
I mean, in all fairness, though, I mean, Blizzard had a lot going on last year, and that was their reasoning for why.
And I understand this was part of it, but that's just, that's what they say. Well, they've had a lot going on always,
Mm-hmm.
so, but it's not good news to me.
No.
So.
Speaking of that, sticking with MMOs though, you see what launched today, finally, was the Marvel Heroes MMO that is now available for download on Steam, and actually, I just finished downloading it. Alright! I knew this game was in the beta before, and I heard about it, and I really didn't pay much attention to it. But now that I am, and I'm looking at it going, damn, I actually want to play this. And so I downloaded it today once I got home from work, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. People are comparing it to a Diablo 2 mixed with Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which, if that's the case, I think I'm actually going to enjoy this game. Unlike games like DC Universe Online, where you basically create your own superhero with abilities and powers taken from other superheroes in the DC Universe, you actually play as the Marvel heroes themselves. And there is a storyline revolving around Doctor Doom. I think it's Doctor Doom. Yeah, Doctor Doom. The environments are randomly generated, and they are constantly changing, so you can zone into a place, zone into it again, and it will be different, so, just like your Diablo universes, it will be, or your Diablo universe, you'll get to run into that all over again. People are saying that, for people that, what they wanted out of Diablo they didn't get, that Marvel Heroes actually provides. If that's the case, I'm excited to try it, but at the same time, I'm not gonna get myself all completely built up about this. Like, people are saying all these great things, but I'll play and this game is still shit. No, but I will probably try this tonight. I'll probably try to at least start playing this tonight, but I have a lot of work to do because I have to, one, finish all the editing of the audio from Sunday's podcast of Random Madness, and then, of course, take care of all the stuff that needs to happen with this podcast now, especially the more work that's involved since we have to do the YouTube release as well, so it takes more time. So I may or may not play tonight, and I gotta go to work. I gotta go to work early tomorrow, so I may not get much of a chance. But we'll see.
Well, this is the first time, honestly, hearing about this Marvel Heroes game, and it does look pretty cool. I'm really, honestly, not a huge fan of the action RPG, like non-stop clicking type of game. So no game has really done a whole lot for me since, honestly, Diablo 1. And I've played a lot of these games over the years, and I just recently beat Torchlight 2, and for me that was just the kind of thing where I really just kind of wanted to get it over with. I wasn't really having a whole lot of fun with it.
Really?
My biggest problem is it just gets so repetitive over time. I mean, they aren't terrible, and I mean, some games obviously are better than others. I did enjoy Titan Quest, and Torchlight 2 wasn't bad, but overall, I think part of it too, I think Diablo 3 still kind of left a bad taste in my mouth towards the whole genre.
That it did.
Yeah.
You were quite bitter for some time.
Bitter enough to ask for my refund, which
Yep.
I did get eventually. It took them 2 months.
Hey, well, at least you got
But
it.
hey, yeah, at least I got it. I guess I can't complain. And I don't know if I mentioned this. I think I did mention before, but I can actually still log in and play that game too. Not that I would want to. But I could potentially still log in and play it. But I'll let you be the guinea pig on that one, even though it's a free to play game.
I will, of course. I mean, I will play. I'll be the guinea pig. I'll definitely check.
You
this
usually are, though.
I know. I definitely.
And I like it that way, actually.
I save you a lot of money.
You do, yeah.
And I give you plenty of opportunities to say, what the hell were you thinking?
Yes,
Or, I told you so.
I'm not sure which I like more, to be honest with you.
Well, get back to me on that one.
Yeah, but see, the thing about that one is since it's free to play, I can't really rub too much in your face about it, though.
Exactly. And now it's just, am I wasting my time playing it, or, because time equals money, and.
Time is money, friend.
Yep.
Well, while we're on the topic of MMOs, I did want to mention, too, that supposedly the fabled Warcraft movie is supposed to shoot in early 2014. Now, Sam Raimi is not on board anymore. Yeah, apparently it's a guy named Duncan Jones who did the movie Moon. And apparently he is the son of David Bowie.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, okay. So.
Suffragette City.
Yeah, Suffragette City. There you go, man. Your favorite rock band song, which is a perfect transition to the next thing I wanted to bring up. But, so supposedly, yeah, they're talking about late 2013, early 2014.
To begin shooting.
And release date in 2015. But this is the same thing we've heard. I think they've been talking about this for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
We'll see. Who knows? And this guy, Duncan Jones, I don't know about the movie Moon. I never saw it. I've always kind of wanted to see it. I don't know, I guess it's always going to kind of be questionable because it's a video game to movie transition and that has its own notoriety.
Stigma,
yeah. Stigma for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll probably be the kind of thing where I'll want to see it.
Except for Doom, because Carl Urban in The Rock, that's a perfect combination.
You know what? Believe it or not, as little as the Doom movie has to do with the actual game, I really didn't mind the Doom movie.
No,
it wasn't okay.
It's one of my favorites.
I didn't think it was that bad. I really didn't, and that's coming from someone whose Doom is probably my all-time favorite game.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine.
No, I was over at Best Buy the other week and I saw it on sale on Blu-ray for it was like $5.
Yeah.
I have to do this. And I sat down and I bought all sorts of stuff. Like I bought The Amazing Spider-Man, and they had like this huge DVD sale. And then the Batman series and everything else. But no, I went for Doom first. I said, I must watch Doom. Popped that in, fucking had a great time. Called my brother again, he's like, I can't believe you watched that movie.
I don't have a copy of it myself, but now that I think about it, I might have to head up to Best Buy and pick it up. I wonder if it's on Netflix. Probably not. I don't think
It wasn't the last time I checked, actually, because I went looking for it. I had this weird itch to watch Doom. I don't know what it was, but something said, I need to watch Doom again. And I checked Netflix, and I couldn't find it, and I went out to Best Buy, and there it was on sale. It had not been in Best Buy for months and months, because I never saw it there. I had nowhere they had it, like, on some $5 bin, and it was there. It was on Blu-ray, and I went, yes.
Yeah, it says Doom is unavailable for streaming, so, oh well.
Immediately picked it up and watched it. It was awesome.
Oh well. Well, since we mentioned Rock Band, I did want to say that, Harmonix has come out, the CEO has said that, they will return to the franchise at, quote, the right point in time, so, I'm sure they are going to do an all David Bowie version, Rock Band David Bowie just for Tim. And every song is going to be just variants of Suffragette City.
Are we going to get like the soundtrack to Labyrinth is the Rock Band?
I don't know. Possibly.
Rock Band Labyrinth edition.
Yeah, Rock Band Labyrinth. That's good news. It was always a good time. I think that, and I think we probably talked about this before when it was a big thing. It just suffered from oversaturation.
Mm-hmm.
But now that it's been a couple of years, I think it would be a good thing to see a new Rock Band game come out.
We know they released their quote unquote, as I said, they released their final DLC packages for it. I think it was a Chevelle package. And a person that did follow this quite a bit was,
sorry.
Sorry. The only reason I know that's because Joanna loves Rock Band. Like,
oh, okay.
She absolutely is in love with Rock Band. She plays it all the time. Her and Jesse actually, there's a lot of times after we're done recording Random Madness, her and Jesse both leave to go play Rock Band at 11, 12 o'clock at night just to go ahead and get started.
Wow. Didn't 1 year for, what's the charity thing you guys do again?
Extra Life, yes.
Life. Didn't they do like the full set, which was every song in the game?
I did it with them.
And you guys were in a lot of pain afterwards.
I lost use of my left wrist for about an hour and a half. Have I ever told this story on this show before? After Extra Life.
You did. I think you did.
Well, real quick, after Extra Life 2012, we decided for Extra Life 2012, the big idea was we're gonna play Rock Band 2's Endless Setlist, which was every song, back to back to back, never ending, no pauses. The only pause is the score screen before it takes you to the next song. You can fail, which of course will give you a pause screen, before, hit resume to try again, but there's another achievement to actually do it without losing a single song. It's like the mighty, like the golden bladder or something like that. And all in all, it comes out to be 7 hours, 6.5 hours to 7 hours of pure gameplay, straight through. And, it was myself, it was Jesse, Joanna, I was playing bass, Joanna was on guitar, and Jesse was on drums. How Jesse made it that far, I have no idea. But, we played through the first 12 songs. My internet cut out. So we had to start all over again. So we started again, played the first 12 songs again, got to about maybe 60% of the way in. Joanna's internet cuts out. Joanna then gets called away for a family emergency, so she can no longer play. So Jesse and I then go on to play the rest of the game, finish it with just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is it sees Joanna as a failed player, so her instrument is no longer played for us anymore. So the whole time, all we're hearing is the bass and drums. We're not hearing the guitar anymore.
But what about vocals?
Oh, the vocals are there, but I mean, without the guitar.
No guitar. That's really. I remember you said that. But I forgot. That was really funny.
You know how weird it is to hear metal songs without a guitar? Like, it's just.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It really throws you off. So. Even playing oh shit, what's the name of the band? One of the songs is Dream Theater's Panic Attack. Without the guitar, I'm like, I can't do this. I need to hear it. I need to at least hear it, and I couldn't hear it. But Jesse and I, we finished it. We got it done. We got the achievements, and of course, being the assholes that we were, we rubbed it in Joanna's face, and both took pictures of our screen and texted them to her. And she was all pissed off with us because she couldn't continue on with the event with us because of, as I said, aforementioned family emergency, which she actually had to completely leave her house and leave town, taking her iPad and I think DS with her. So she still played the event the whole time, but she was not with us, and she was really upset about it, and feel a little bit like a dick for doing what we did, but not really, because we got the achievement done, and it was awesome. Of course, we are planning, if anyone has seen the Facebook page for us, recently, I did change the backing image for us. We are getting ready. We are signed up and on board for, Extra Life 2013, which is November 2nd. I think I've definitely learned a lot over the last 2 years of doing this, so I'm gonna be better prepared this time around. And we're gonna definitely get a set list of games that we're gonna play as opposed to, okay, what do you want to play now? And then, I mean, really, Josh and I played NHL 13 for maybe a third of the event. We couldn't think of anything else to play that keep our interest for that long. So we're like, we'll just play hockey. Fuck it. Let's just go back to hockey, man. We got this. But that was it. I mean, that was definitely it. So we're looking forward to this year. It's a fun event, good charity, good cause for the kids. And I have been loving it. I mean, once we get done with the event, I continue talking and get ready for next year. I mean, I immediately start planning for next year's event. So.
And I'll probably participate a little bit in it. I can't do the full 24 hours just because I usually work Saturday mornings and also just because of school stuff. It usually seems to happen around the time of midterms, which is really inconvenient. I wish they would find a different month rather than October, because that's kind of just, I feel like universally the midterm.
Well, they moved into November this year.
Oh, they did? Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. So I might be able to participate a little bit more than I have in the past, which is not at all. So any participation would be more than not at all. But I look forward to it too. And I hope maybe by then, and I'm gonna get with Josh and see if I can't get a Twitch stream going, just to see kind of what I can do as far as that goes. I'd like to get some dooming or something going on up on Twitch, so.
Yeah, ask him, because he knows all about it now. He was gonna show me, and then we got carried away with whatever we were doing. I don't know.
Minecraft?
Yeah.
Well,
speaking of,
go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just gonna say, you guys might get a chance to, play your Rock Band then sometime in the future too, so.
Yay, new stuff. No, real quick with the Minecraft. I mean, this game, the first experience I ever had with Minecraft is a video we have up on our YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. It is the Magic Penis Forest.
Yeah.
Because I was drunk and I kept on saying, I don't want to play this, I don't want to play this, I'll never play this game. And I got way too drunk and peer pressure took over and I said, fine. And I bought the game, signed in, everyone's all, building castles and lighthouses and all these towers, and I was like, I'm gonna make a forest of dicks. And that's all I did. And I just kept on building, upside down T's, because that's as far as my creativity would take me at the time. And, I made a little wood sign, I said, O'Shea's Magic Penis Forest. And, I decided after I was done and admiring my work that I was going to video document the whole thing, so I started my recording, and recorded about 6 or 7 minutes, I think, of footage, posted it right to YouTube, and for a while it was the most popular video on our site, which is no longer the case anymore. Actually, our boss fight versus the final boss fight in Dungeon Defenders pre-DLC is now the most viewed.
Now the king.
Yeah.
Of Cooney.
Yeah, it is definitely. Of course, that was with us and one of the guys from Plenikill. That was that video. It was really poorly done too, but people liked it. So they said the audio quality was shit, and I went back and listened to it, and yeah, because I was not planning on recording that video. It was just kind of a last minute, okay, let's just go. I never leveled anything out, so the game volume completely takes over for everything that we did. Mm-hmm. But so Josh and I get into Minecraft, we've been playing this nonstop, and we have been creating this world around us, and we've been having a blast with it. We had a server, we got into it actually a lot more when I was on vacation and down there, and he had a PC over there, we were running it right off of his machine. His PC was not strong enough to handle the server for us, so my laptop, which is a beast, I ran the server and my client, so we were both running it, had some problems, some latency issues, but it wasn't so bad. So we decided, well, let's go ahead and get it off my laptop, allow me to run the client, but make the server a dedicated thing. So I had another box in this house, and my old XP computer that was doing nothing. So I reformatted the son of a bitch, completely wiped it, everything, reinstalled the basic drivers, and got the Minecraft server on there. Nothing but latency issues. That PC is a piece of shit, and I should have killed it a long time ago. That's the one that I bought when I was living in North Carolina from Office Depot.
Say no more.
It still lives.
Wow.
So Josh and I finally decided we bit the bullet and paid for an online server, rented an online server, which has been beautiful because we don't have to do anything. It's always on. We just go on and play. We have some, lag spikes here and there, but it's an 8-player server. We invite some of our friends to come play with us, and we just go create. Well, yesterday, June 3rd, is Bad Wolf Day, so any Doctor Who fans out there, you know what I'm talking about. Josh took it upon himself to walk around our entire world and start putting signs of Bad Wolf everywhere. Again, Doctor Who fans, get this. So when I logged into the server, I started walking around, I kept on seeing Bad Wolf, Bad Wolf, Bad Wolf, and I started freaking out. I'm like, no, who did this? Who did this? This isn't funny. Josh, calls me about it. I'm like, you're a funny guy. But real quick, I can't even say that because that spoils it. For anyone that wants to go watch Doctor Who, Bad Wolf is in the first series of the relaunching of, the first season of the relaunching, so it starts with the 9th Doctor with Chris Eccleston, who in my mind is still one of my favorite Doctors. But that's where you'll get the whole Bad Wolf thing because it carries on through the season and it gets to the end and everything else. So I won't say anything about it. But
see, when I saw the videos, I thought Bad Wolf was like some guy you guys knew who that was his alias, and he came into your server and was like playing with you guys. I don't watch Doctor Who, so I didn't get it.
Yeah. Well, see, most of the guys on our Minecraft server are all Doctor Who fans. So
okay.
We all knew.
Mm-hmm.
So like, no, God, no, who did this? This isn't funny. This is not funny. Whoever did this. And I was being accused of doing it. I'm like, dude, I just signed on.
Yeah.
It was me. Who did it? I don't know.
So how are we looking on time, Tim?
We are getting close to our hour mark.
Okay.
Actually, we're almost to that point.
Okay. Well, since we have a little bit of time, I wanted to talk about something that happened with Valve and Greenlight, Steam Greenlight over the last few days. So, There's a game called Paranautical Activity, which was on the Steam Greenlight. And what Paranautical Activity, it actually looks really cool too. It's a first person shooter, and it kind of has the blocky, like, I guess Lego-ish / Minecraft-y style look to it.
Okay.
And what happened was this game they had their Greenlight page, and the developers they didn't really spend much time on the Greenlight page. They didn't spend a lot of time promoting it or anything like that. But apparently they caught the attention of Adult Swim, now they're publishing games, and they have a lot of games on their website you can play, and they do stuff with Steam and all that. Like, did they do the Penny Arcade games, or was that just them?
No, that was not, they did not do the Penny Arcade games.
Okay. Okay. Well, they have published Steam, games on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
So they contacted Paranormal Activity, and they were like, well, obviously they were like, hell yeah. But apparently Valve blocked the publishing deal they were going to get from Adult Swim because they did not want to send a message that indies can seek out publishers to bypass the Steam Greenlight.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and this has gotten some negative backlash towards Valve, and I've listened, I've looked at what Valve has to say, and I've looked at what the developer has to say, and I kind of tend to side with the developers in this case. Apparently with Steam Greenlight now, any indie game, any game that doesn't have a publisher has to go through Steam Greenlight. I did not know that. Every indie game is forced to go through Steam Greenlight.
So every indie game, okay.
Every indie game has to go through Steam Greenlight, which is not always a good thing for the developers, because if you're a smaller studio, it used to be that apparently you could just email Valve and they would put the game up on Steam. And I don't know why they made the change for me, when I first heard about Greenlight, what I thought it was going to be was games that were not on Steam. People would post them on there, and you could vote to put them on there.
Right.
I didn't know it was going to become a thing where every single indie game was going to have to go on there.
Well, see, that's what I thought. Your original idea was what my original idea was, but
Yeah.
that's the case now. I mean, I'm a little out of the loop here.
Yeah, I was completely out of the loop until this came up. I had no idea that this was what was going on, but I just think that has set a really bad precedent for indie games on Steam. I mean, that's kind of a lot of what you think about when you think of Steam is you go there and that's a hub for indie gaming. It really is. The developers themselves have said that any kind of sales that they would get anywhere else on the internet, because they could just say, like, we don't want to go through Steam at all. We're going to go through Adult Swim, and to hell with Steam. They can block us. Doesn't matter. But they said that the sales they're going to get at other websites they're a fraction of what they're going to get on Steam. So that in order to go on Steam now, because they started to go through the Greenlight process, they're forced to go through the Greenlight process now. They cannot drop their Greenlight page and take their publishing deal from Adult Swim and go to Steam otherwise.
Well, were they already greenlit then?
No, they were not.
Well,
they
then.
were not. That is something that Valve, the idea behind Steamlight I thought was to help indie publishers, but in this case it's hurting and could potentially hurt other games. Getting the attention of a publisher is a good thing.
Yeah, it usually is.
It shouldn't be a bad thing, and Valve is punishing them for that.
I mean, I guess I'm not really, I mean, I know the basics of the Greenlight process. I know if you get your game posted to Greenlight, people can sit there and can vote on you. If you get enough votes, Steam comes to you and says, okay, yes, now we're gonna work with you to get your game actually released on Steam. You get you on the platform, this is how we're gonna have, you have to make some changes here to make sure it works with our stuff. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that it was, I mean, of course, then they put that was beginning of Greenlight. I know they put the fee in there for companies that had to, it was like a small fee, but you still had to pay a fee to get your game posted to Greenlight to be voted on. So I guess now you're kind of entering into somewhat, I guess, of a contract state, because now you're paying like an entry fee to reserve a spot for you to be in here to be voted on. So I don't know I would honestly, I would want to see, of course, I don't know if it's changed now, but I would love to see whatever terms and agreements are put forward to the actual developers when they try to push a game to Greenlight.
Yeah, that's true, and they didn't mention anything about that. There's an interview with the developers up on YouTube where they talk about this issue. I just think that, like I said, they shouldn't be punished for that. Now there's a flip side to this. People are saying like, oh, they were just cheating. They were just trying to get around the Greenlight process. And if that's the case, I mean, if they were out there, if the developers said, well, we don't want to go through Greenlight, if they didn't want to put in the work to promote their game on Greenlight, because the only thing, getting approved for Greenlight only helps you on Steam. It doesn't help you anywhere else. It doesn't help you at Good Old Games. It doesn't help you at, Green Man Gaming. It doesn't help you over at Indievania. It doesn't help you at any of these other websites.
It's one platform.
It only helps you on Steam. And if they were like, we don't want to put in the effort, we just want to get published. If that's the case, if they were really trying to cheat their way around Greenlight and didn't want to put in the effort for it, then I can understand what Valve is saying. But if they just legitimately, out of the blue, out of nowhere, got an email from Adult Swim saying, hey, we really like the look of your game. We think it has a lot of potential. We want to publish you on and put you on Steam and get a cut of your sales. Then I think Valve is wrong in that case. And it seems to me I am tending to lean more towards the side of the developer and that Valve is making a misstep here in this scenario.
I will
reserve
my comments until.
Without knowing that, and hopefully Valve will come out and be a little bit more clear about their statement, because like I said, all they're really saying right now is they don't want to send the message that indies can seek out publishers to bypass Steam Greenlight. So maybe the devs will come clean and say, yeah, we really were trying to work around, or maybe Valve was contacted by Adult Swim and said, hey, we have a Steam Greenlight game. called Paranautical Activity, and we were going to offer them a publishing deal to get them on Steam as opposed to going through Greenlight. Maybe Valve didn't like that and decided to shut them down that way. I don't know.
I don't know.
But being that we're not developers, we don't have access to its terms and service. But even if you paid, like, what did you say did you say the price of the fee is like $100 or something?
It was something small. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I think it was like 150 or 250, I think.
I do remember when they announced that. Even if you pay money to go on Steam Greenlight, I don't really see why that would matter anyway, unless, like you said, they did sign a terms of agreement where it says you have to go through the Greenlight process and you can't work around that by going to a publisher afterwards.
Well, see, because here's the thing that gets me though. So it has to be some kind of terms of agreement thing. Because, like, if, say for instance, they're on Greenlight, they don't get enough views, and what happens to games that don't get enough views? I guess they just remove them from the system, and of course then the developer, I guess at a later time. I mean, again, I don't really know the full details about the way Greenlight, how it actually works. Like, my guess is, so you put it out here, it gets put on this, featured list for a while. If you get enough, votes for it, Steam comes, you say, yes, let's do it. If you don't, I'm guessing they just remove you and allow you to maybe, I guess, try again at a later time. My thing is, let's say you go through Greenlight, you don't get voted on, and your game gets removed from the list. Are you not allowed to look for somebody else at that point? Like, I don't get, like, what, it just seems like you're not guaranteed a spot. You have to rely on the people to get you your spot. So what's the...
And that relies on getting your game out there and getting your game known. There are people who have said, like, oh, this game may just not be that good. And they knew it, and they didn't think that the game was going to get enough votes or whatever, and so that's why they went over to Adult Swim. And some people have said they contacted Adult Swim and were trying to work around Steam that way, or work around Greenlight that way, but we don't really know. But
side note, all those little developers out there, you want us to go ahead and play tests and everything else. I mean, I know we're a little website, but Daryl and I, we got love for the indie community, and
absolutely,
we'll definitely give anybody a shot. I mean, I'm always looking for something else to play. I mean, I have fallen so much in love with the indie community over the last, I guess, 2 years, maybe. Yeah. That's where I really started paying attention to it, and that's really, most of the time, that's all I play. I mean, I still play some of the big name titles, most recently being, I think, BioShock Infinite was the last one that I played. But I do jump back to a lot of these smaller studios. These guys that develop this stuff with, very few people. I love these games. They're fun.
A lot of times you can get better value out of those games than you can out of the big name titles. Not always. Not always, but a lot of times you can.
I mean, look at a game like, Scoregasm. How many hours did I put in a Scoregasm? And it's just a twin stick shooter. Well, sort of. Yeah, it is. I mean, technically it is. But I mean, for a game that I paid, I think just a few dollars for, I got several hours out of easily. And I put more hours into Scoregasm than I put into some of the big titles.
Yeah, and that's how I am with The Binding of Isaac. I put 80 hours into a game I ended up paying about $4 for. And 80 hours is considerably more than you're going to get out of the majority of modern big name publisher developer titles.
I mean, FTL, another one, I put in 28 hours into that game.
Yeah.
Dungeon Defenders. Holy crap. 138 hours.
Yeah, I knew that one was gonna be a lot.
I've logged into Dungeon Defenders. And I still have DLC I haven't played yet. I gotta go back into it. But Dungeon Defenders is a game I'll kill hours on, easily.
But the point really is that, I think that, like I said, Steam and indie games, Steam has been a big player in getting in the popularity of the indie gaming community, whether people like it or not. That they are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there, especially in the indie community, who are anti-Steam, but that's a good way to get your game noticed. And this Greenlight process is really it was originally implemented to help indie gaming, but it seems like it's hurting in as much as it's helping. And I'm sure this isn't the first time this has happened, but I think it's the first time that we're hearing about it happening. And I think it's a shame because this game does look pretty cool. I would definitely recommend anyone who likes first person shooters go check it out. They describe it as, I mean, it has a random element to it. So it's kind of like more along the lines of like a Binding of Isaac meets an old school first person shooter. There's no like recoil or anything like that. I mean, it has a very basic UI. And it looks really interesting, and I really hope that they do get approved on the Steam Greenlight process. So check it out and give them a like on Greenlight. If you like indie games, first person shooters, or you just want hoping to play something a little bit different than just the status quo in first person shooters nowadays, I would definitely recommend checking it out and giving it a shot. I don't know when it's going to be released. I don't know when anything. The sad thing about this too is, in the same interview with the developers, they're now talking about possibly going to another platform next time they make a game. I certainly hope that's not the case. I can understand why they would. I can understand why this would leave a bad taste in their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So if the game turns out to be good, I do hope that they bring it back to PC. Even if they choose not to bring it to Steam, that's fine. But I just hope that, but I understand their decision. I understand their decision if they don't want to come back. Right. So that's kind of all I had to say on that issue. What are we looking at on time here?
We're getting close.
Okay. I was gonna mention real quick just a couple release, dates and notes and whatnot. The Halo twin stick shooter was just announced today. It's Windows 8 only, unfortunately. Halo Spartan Assault. It looks really awesome. It really does. It's a game I would buy, and it's getting a lot of hate. A lot of hate. People are saying, oh, this is not what we wanted and blah, blah, blah. And I guess I can understand if you're a fan of the series, but for someone like me who I've never really played Halo aside from a little bit here and there, I think it looks pretty cool.
I think Halo Wars got a lot of hate too initially, but I mean, that game I enjoyed playing that. That's, the Command and Conquer type universe, an RTS within the Halo universe.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. So, I don't know. I mean, twin stick shooter Halo? Fuck yeah, I'll try it.
I'd play it, but unfortunately it's Windows 8 only, so I won't be playing it for a long time. And I'm sure if it flops in sales, much like Halo 2 on the PC, which was Vista only did. Now Windows 8 does have a bigger install base at this point in time than Windows Vista did, I'm sure. According to Steam, it's about 13% of their users. So it does have a little bit of a larger install base, and I'm sure that there aren't as many compatibility issues and whatnot that plagued Vista. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure it probably won't sell that well.
I'm just not a fan of Windows 8, so.
I would play it if they were releasing it on Windows 7, I'd be all over it, but whatever. Dark Souls 2 confirmed for March 2014.
Oh no.
And Amnesia, a machine for pigs, delayed to Q3. But that's one I'll definitely be picking up. And that's all I had.
Real quick, we're a big backer also to the Humble Bundle. They have now announced that they are adding 4 more games to their list if you pay the average. So before, you were getting, for just, paying what you wanted, you were getting Little Inferno, Awesome Knots, Capsize, Thomas Was Alone, and Dear Esther, with Hotline Miami and Proteus being the 2 games you would get if you paid the average, if you paid more than the average. They have now added Tiny and Big and Grandpa's Leftovers, which I have no idea what that is.
It's a third person actiony puzzle platformer type of game. I played the demo for it a couple years ago. It was pretty cool.
Intrusion 2, actually, which I picked up from the developer directly. That's a fun game. I did like that. English Country Tune, and then Oil Rush. And 5 more soundtracks are all being included if you pay the average of a whopping $5.66. Which, again, ready for the bitching in 3, 2, 1. Linux 874, Mac 682, Windows 530. However, over $2 million has been raised so far for this one.
That's good, though. That's good.
And over 356,000 bundles have been, actually almost 357,000 bundles have been sold. So definitely making the money. The Humble Bundle is an awesome thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Every single time one comes out, you'll definitely hear us say, go check these games out, because there's a chance that we've played at least a few of these on here.
Yeah.
Awesome Knots is a good game. Hotline Miami is absolutely fantastic. You should pay the average for that alone, and then some.
I'm pretty sure buying that game on Steam is more than $5 itself.
You're typing faster.
Yeah, it's $10 on Steam.
Yeah.
So even if you paid $6, you would be getting 40% off that one game, which seemed to be very good. I actually didn't play it. I haven't played it yet. Everybody says it's awesome. So even if you don't like the other games, which Capsize is in there, which I like that game a lot, you're getting some really good games. So pay more than the average, please. Don't just pay the average.
I say Intrusion 2 and Oil Rush in there is being part of the pay more than average. Both those games are good. I like both of those. I said Awesome Nuts I really enjoyed too. So there's definitely some good ones on here, and most of these were running about, $10 a piece around that area. So,
it's always a really good deal, and a lot of the money goes to charity too.
And you'll get plenty of hours of gameplay from this stuff, trust me. I mean, you may not like everything you get, but there's definitely going to be a few of these that you're going to get your money's worth.
Exactly. And if you don't like any of them, then something's wrong with you. So.
I will throw out quickly, let's see here, Hotline. Since I've mentioned, how much game time I've played into some of this stuff, the Hotline Miami, I put 6 hours in. 6 hours, took me less than that to actually beat the game. Mm-hmm. It's a very short game. But, to go ahead and get the challenges done and, doing your speed runs, and if you're an achievement person, unlocking those takes longer than just one playthrough. It's definitely going to take several playthroughs. Which you can go ahead and do level select and everything else. So, you can go back and grab the stuff that you missed. But, Hotline Miami, it's a fun game. Definitely recommend it. Definitely worth more than the average price of $5.66 to get all that stuff. And you get all the soundtracks too. You can rock out the stuff in your car while you pick up the ladies, like I do. But that's all I have, I think.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm just, we're looking forward to E3, which is a week away. It's next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so we'll have our annual coverage.
We'll have probably
we'll have a lot of WildStar stuff to talk about, I'm sure, because they did say they are going to have some more details on it at E3. So I'm sure that we'll have some to talk about, and obviously the big name publishers are having the big name companies are having their conferences too.
What always gets me is that we do this, and I sit there at work trying to watch E3, and you're like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, dude, I just have it playing in the background, okay? I just want to hear it. Can I just hear it? I'm a nerd. I'm a gamer. I want to know what nice new shiny things are coming out within the next year or two. Please just give me this. I will get your stupid remotes done. It's only a few days out of a year, okay? Come on.
But I'll have the details that Tim doesn't get because he'll be working like a sucker while I'm not working.
Well, I go back and I watch the press I go back and watch the press conferences anyway. I mean, I go back and watch them after they've been, republished.
Yeah, but there's a lot more than the press conferences too, though.
I get that, but I watch all the interviews, and I watch the, dude, I mean, E3, I pay a lot of attention to. I mean, the first year that we did the E3 coverage, it was definitely lacking, and then the second year where it was just you and I that took that over.
Yeah.
We did watch a lot. Actually, I had a notebook, and I had so many damn notes about stuff that I wanted to talk about, and there was plenty of stuff that we didn't even cover. So probably looking at another 2-episode dedication to E3. We've been doing that in the past.
We'll probably have an episode on Tuesday and Wednesday like we've done before. Thursday's kind of winding down. There's usually not a lot to talk about on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday's really kind of just like the wrap up and opening up demos for everyone to play, and maybe a few conversations with the developers and publishers, but there's nothing. The last day E3 is just kind of
all the conferences are on the first 2 days, so.
And actually the day before too. That's always the big one too. You get the big announcements there too. I think cause, who was it? Konami, I think, did the pre-release. And they had a lot to reveal from, 2012, I think, if I remember correctly.
But this will also be Microsoft's chance to redeem themselves too.
They don't need to redeem themselves.
I know, but that's what people think, so. But I think we're probably pushing it here, so we gotta end it, Tim.
Yeah, internet, chill the fuck out. Anyways, look forward to E3. We'll be back here. Of course, we'll have all of our coverage for it.
Yep.
But this has been episode 134 of Two Guys, One Cartridge. Myself, Tim, and Daryl here. Y'all have yourselves a good night, a good week, and we'll be back here next week.
Later.